football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to give my recap on last night's top-ranked card featuring Jared Anderson, a fighter in boxing that is one of the most scrutinized young fighters in the sport today. And I've been a part of that. I've scrutinized Jared Anderson because, I don't like, I'm okay for promotion and building your young guys up, but then there's a fine line between promotion and just being disrespectful to the history of the sport. And they've compared this guy to Rudneko a lot. I take that very offensively because Rudneko is a friend of mine. Rudneko is someone that I've learned a lot about boxing from. And Rudneko, even if I didn't know him personally, Rudneko is one of the most naturally talented heavyweights to ever grace this earth. And I don't think Jared Anderson holds a candle to him, even if you want to just go off what they did as amateur fighters. He didn't medal, so I don't want to hear it. Him being the next Rudneko, that's bullshit to me. But as far as fight Rudneko, let's talk about that because, it was a showcase fight for Jared. For those, you got to really understand sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, what these fights are and see them for what they are and not what we wish they were. This was a showcase fight for Jared Anderson, meaning that this was a fight that was supposed to, serve a certain purpose, but a fight that he really couldn't lose because the opponent wasn't competent enough to defeat him. The opponent in Rudneko was competent enough to complete a certain task, but not to defeat him, right? Because Rudneko, veteran fighter, well over 40 fights in the pros, been in there with some guys like Zhang KOSSOBUTSKIY and Povetkin and taking them the distance, right? Very crafty guy, but you look at his offensive skill set, there's just not a lot there with him, right? So it was a chance for Jared Anderson to work on some things, to get some rounds and polish up a bit more, because when he gets to that level where he's fighting the elite guys, he's going to need to be that polished fighter, right? And if you want to just do a comparison, even after the completion of last night's 5 rounds where he stopped Rudneko, Jared Anderson has boxed 46 rounds as a professional fighter in 16 fights. Alexander Usyk has boxed 21 fights in the pro ranks and has boxed 177 rounds. So there's still some polishing up that he needs to do before he gets to that level. But let's talk about the fight. I thought he did a great job picking his shots. He showed in this fight improved defense, parrying shots, and as they say in the boxing gyms, answering the phone. He worked a lot out of that southpaw stance and was able to and flash some nice body work outside that southpaw stance. He showed some angles where he would throw 1 or 2 punches and then he would pivot off to the side, kind of like a la Lomachenko, Bam Rodriguez type stuff. He did that once or twice in the fight. So there were some things that I definitely saw Jared Anderson working on. I don't want to make too much of the performance because there's not much to make of it. He fought a guy he was supposed to beat up on, and that's what he did. So, I give him his credit. I don't think the question with Jared Anderson is talent. I think he's got more than enough talent. Really and truthfully, I think the question for me is Jared Anderson's hunger, his desire to be a champion. He's made it very clear that, he's not trying to be in the sport for too long, which I'm not against that. I think boxing is a very tough, arduous business. You shouldn't want to be in boxing too long, or longer than you should be, right? So I applaud him for actually thinking that way. However, I just think that he's talked about it so much. There's been such a focus put on, him, this being a business for him, that I don't want to question his love for the sport, because for someone like him to box as long as he's boxed, you have to have some love for it. But, my question for Jared Anderson is going to be, when he does fight someone who punches him in his mouth and really takes him to those deep, dark places, is he going to have that hunger to get over the hump mentally? I'm not so sure. And you look at where he's at right now. Right now, he's ranked number 7 in the WBC, number 7 in the WBA, number 15 in the IBF, and he's ranked number 5 in the WBO. So he's ranked in all top 15 of those governing bodies. So I understand that Top Rank's going to, polish him up a bit more and continue to get him some rounds. But he's at that point now where it's time to step him up. It's time to take those training wheels off. It's time to take the floaties and give them to mommy and daddy and go to the big kid pool, the big kid side of the pool, the deep end, and go swim with the upper echelon contenders in the weight class. Your guys like Arsenbek Makhmudov, your Martin Bukolis, your Dillian Whites, your Daniel Dubois who fought yesterday. Them kind of fighters, Joseph Parker, them kind of fighters, all those guys I named, even if Philip Hrgovic, if the Usyk fight doesn't come off, that's a fight that maybe they should look into. Although I don't think they will, because Hrgovic's gonna probably fight Usyk next. But that level, Frank Sanchez, that level, Otto Wallin, that level of fighter, even Efe Ajagba, who fought in the co-main, who I'll get to in a second, and Zhan KOSSOBUTSKIY, that's the level that Jared Anderson is going to have to fight at very soon. And all those guys I mentioned have the capabilities to punch him and take him to some deep, dark places he hasn't been. And my thing is, if you don't really have a genuine love for the sport, it's all well and good to look good against the Rudnenkos and these Serbians that he's been fighting. But when he fights someone that's like really good and can really challenge him and give him resistance, that's why I'm questioning him. I'm not questioning his talent. I think Jared Anderson has all the talent in the world. I think, I saw improvements in this fight. The defense was on point. He can box his, like, he has things you can't teach. He has to, like just from last night, the way he would come up that southpaw stance and then throw 1-2 punches and angle off to the side. Heavyweights can't do that. A lot of heavyweights can't do that. The fact that he can box orthodox and southpaw, a lot of heavyweights can't do that. The fact that he can box mid-range and is comfortable in the pocket, a lot of heavyweights don't like to fight like that. So I see a guy who does have an elite talent, but I really just question, the desire to be great. And at the end of the day, it's all well and good to have a financial plan after boxing and want to be financially free. That should be everyone's main goal. But there still has to be that desire to be great and to be champion. And I question that with Jared Anderson. So we'll see. Time will tell all. I wish the brother nothing but success. I like him. I hope he does well for the USA because we need an American heavyweight. But those are my takeaways from the fight last night. Now, switching gears to Efe Ajagba versus Zhan KOSSOBUTSKIY, because I wanted to really talk about this fight. This is a fight that I talked about, made a video about it. So this is my follow-up to it. Zhan was supposed to fight Jared Anderson, right? Jared didn't look good against Charles Martin, so Top Rank said, okay, let's not put him in there with someone like Zhan because that might not go well for him. Zhan's experienced. Zhan can punch, and he might make Jared look bad, and that might devalue his stock. So they took Zhan, and they threw him over to Efe Ajagba, and they let Jared get a little showcase fight. That's really what happened. And Efe Ajagba, he's a guy that, since the Frank Sanchez loss, he's been trying to really, establish himself in the heavyweight division. He's not really a guy that I would consider a top 10 caliber heavyweight at all, but he's a guy that does have, experience. He Nigerian Olympian. He's been pro for, 6 years now, going on 7. So it's time to, really step it up. And, he beat Stephen Shaw in a career best performance his last fight. And the Zhan fight was interesting because in this fight, with what happened with the Dubois fight earlier in the day with Usyk and the low blow, or was it a low blow, was it a legal shot? This fight had low blows too, right? So Efe Ajagba was throwing this nice little stabbing jab to the body early on in the fight, in like, what was it, round 1 and round 2 as well. He was throwing this nice little stabbing jab to the body. And then, I'm not gonna lie, like some of them maybe they strayed a little low, but I don't think there was that intent to land low. I think he was trying to, throw it down to the stomach, and then sometimes Zhan KOSSOBUTSKIY would smother him or make a certain movement which would put his, genital area in an unprecarious position, right? And that's what happened. And then there were times where, okay, Efe did land low. I'm not going to say he was 100% clean. But then there were some shots where Zhan would smother him and Efe would throw a jab and it would bounce off the arm and then it would come down here. And those were like, I classify those as like borderline shots, right? And Zhan wasn't liking the shots that were landing clean to the body. Zhan KOSSOBUTSKIY was not liking those body shots. He was not liking that body attack from Efe. And he started to retaliate, and he channeled his inner Andrew Gulad, his inner Andre Ward, and he just started digging all the way down there, just digging all the way down there. I'm talking about to where it's not questionable, it's not borderline, there's no debate like we had with Dubois and Usyk. This was blatant, and he wanted to getting a disqualification, and I don't like it because, Zhan KOSSOBUTSKIY is a guy that's been going through the rankings, and this is really his chance to make his name in the USA and in the heavyweight division, and I think he's put himself in a very bad position because now I think promoters aren't going to want to match him with certain fighters, and it sucks. It sucks because I wanted to see if Efe could beat a guy like Zhan, and I wanted to see what Zhan could do on the big stage. But now we don't get to see that in the heavyweight division. I think took an L there yesterday. So as far as Efe is concerned, there's not a lot I can take away from it because the fight only went 4 rounds, and for me, fights don't really start until after the 4th round. That's just how I look at boxing. I think a real high level professional fight doesn't really start to like the 5th fight. You get to those middle rounds, and we didn't really get those middle rounds last night. So I can't take too much from it. But I do know that Efe Ajagba and Jared Anderson are friends. And the way I see it is that Top Rank, they passed along Jared's, like, I don't want to say leftovers, but they took Jared's mess with Zhan, okay, and they threw it over to Efe. And if Efe would have lost, they probably would have dropped him from his contract. They threw it over to Efe. And Efe really couldn't prove what he could do throughout the course of a fight. So I don't think Top Rank will probably want to get Zhan KOSSOBUTSKIY back. If that's the case, then Efe versus Jared is the perfect fight to make. Now I know that I know they're stablemates, and I know that I've heard them say that we're friends and all this stuff. But listen, if you're in the same weight class in boxing, there's no such thing as friends, right? And the way I see it, friendship or no friendship, Efe Ajagba and Jared Anderson are on the same level. They're both guys that I think Efe Ajagba is the kind of level Jared needs to be fighting at. So if you can't get Jared the Makhmudovs or those kind of Otto Wallins of the world and guys like that, Frank Sanchez, Jalalov, even Stephen Shaw, then you need to be looking at Efe Ajagba because if Jared has any ambition to fight on the top level of heavyweight boxing, you're gonna need to fight a lot of guys with the Efe Ajagba-like frame, 6'6", 85-inch reach, punching power in both hands, or at least the right hand at least. So I think that's the ideal fight to make for Top Rank next, and that's what it is. So yesterday in boxing was the night of the low blows. We had a controversial, borderline shot, body shot, low blow occasion with the Usyk Dubois fight, and we had blatant low blows with Ajagba and KOSSOBUTSKIY. So yeah, really unfortunate. I really wanted to see how that fight would have played out if it would have went 10 rounds, but I guess we'll never know. So yeah. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. We're here at the Hatanaka Boxing Gym in Nagoya, Japan. And for more great videos just like this one, make sure you guys click right here.